Man's quest for knowledge certainly was a major impetus in the voyage to the moon, which American space scientists and engineers planned for December. A few days before the Apollo 8 countdown, at the first White House dinner honoring America's entire space team, President Johnson praised the leadership of NASA's outgoing director, James Webb. On hand was Charles Lindbergh, famed for his solo flight 41 years ago, and the astronauts of Apollo 7 and Apollo 8, who in 1968 earned their place in history. En route to the dinner, they autographed a document which will hang in the treaty room alongside mementos of earlier spacemen who visited the mansion.
Now, before the countdown for Apollo 8 begins, I want to say this to the men of its crew, Colonel Borman, Captain Lovell, to Major Andrews. We pray for you, we think of you, we wish you Godspeed, we wish you a safe return, and the only person in the world that's going to be more concerned about you than I am is the girls who wait for your return.
T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit. We have liftoff. Liftoff at 7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have cleared the tower.
Roger. How do you hear, Houston? Loud and clear.
65 years to the month after Orville and Wilbur Wright propelled the first American airplane over the ocean dunes at Kitty Hawk, powerful Saturn rockets launched Apollo 8's crew on man's first trip to the moon. It was described as an absolutely perfect liftoff at 7:51 a.m. from Cape Kennedy. And soon the rocket was traveling 24,000 miles per hour.
I have a beautiful view of the S4B and the Earth here on one. I'll try to get a picture for you. Okay. Apollo 8, Houston. Go ahead, Houston. Apollo 8, you are go for TLI. Over. Roger, understand. We're go for TLI.
"68 hours and 58 minutes into the mission, the astronauts passed around the dark side of the moon. 10 minutes later, they fired the thrust engine into a successful lunar orbit. By now, the spacemen were radioing back their close-up sightings of the moon only 70 miles away.
The moon is a different thing to each one of us. I know my own impression is that it's a vast, lonely, forbidding type existence or expanse of nothing. It looks rather like clouds and clouds of pumice stone. And it certainly would not appear to be a very inviting place to live or work.
During their 10 orbits of the moon, the astronauts photographed the Sea of Tranquility and other potential landing sites for use by future Apollo explorers. With lunar shadows lengthening below them and the void of the universe looming beyond, America's astronauts read from the book of Genesis, the story of creation.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
And now the most critical moment of the journey had arrived, when the team of Borman, Lovell, and Anders would attempt to restart their engines and rocket back to Earth.
Houston, Apollo 8, over.
Hello, Apollo 8. Loud clear.
Roger. Please be informed there is a Santa Claus.
That's affirmative. He is at that point to know.
The triumphant shouts from Mission Control in Houston on Christmas Day could only mean one thing. The engines were started again, and Apollo 8 was on its way home. A flawless, supremely successful flight, with splashdown coming in the pre-dawn hours of Friday morning, December 27th, not far from the USS Yorktown, 1,000 miles southwest of Honolulu. A courageous event, said the Russians. The Vatican called it daring, incredible. Britain's astronomer, Sir Bernard Lovell, who earlier had questioned its scientific value, now called it one of the historic moments in the development of the human race. From Paris, the supreme compliment. Magnifique, formidable. And from Washington, President Johnson immediately conveyed to the astronauts the exultant feelings of Americans.
We want to welcome you home. We thank God that you're back safe again. You've made us very proud to be alive at this particular moment in history. You've made us feel kin to those Europeans nearly 5 centuries ago who heard stories of the New World for the first time. There's just no other comparison that we can make that's equal to what you've done or to what we feel.